Tonight's match is presented by Big Bun Drive-In, proud soft serve partner of AC Boise. It's a terrific night here in Idaho for a first for Athletic Club Boise. It's an international friendly as Costa Rica's Sporting FC comes to town alongside former Manchester United goalkeeper Gary Bailey. I'm Michael Watrang. Here's the club profile for Athletic Club Boise. First season in League One. They're currently in 5th in the league, and this has been a fortress. The best attendance in all of League One. They average more than what the stadium's capacity is because of the standing room only seats that they sell here in this matchup. On the other side for Sporting FC, we'll get to them in just a moment, but let's take a look at our player to watch in tonight's matchup for Athletic Club Boise. And it is Jesus Barea. He has come over and made an instant impact from his time with Real Monarchs.
Can you believe it? 4 games, he's got a goal and a couple of assists already there. Very, very impressive player. Great touch. As you mentioned, he was at MLS at Real Salt Lake. And when you see him play, when you see how he can spot players around him and put balls in, what a signing for a USL League Division 1 side.
A goal and an assist so far, and here's what we can expect from Sporting FC. They were founded not too long ago, one of the newest teams in all of Costa Rica. It took them a year to get promoted, and currently they're 3 matches in to the Primera Division in Costa Rica. It's their first time in the United States to take on an American side in any competition. And when you look at this Sporting Costa Rica side, there's a lot of youngsters on the field tonight, but let's focus our eyes in on Oscar Segura.
19 years of age. He was the only player featuring tonight who featured in the last match against Cartagena. They're very excited about his talent, and he'll be playing alongside a 41-year-old former World Cup player in Daniel Colindres. So the pair of them up front could be a real handful for FC Boise tonight.
It's going to be a great showcase of football or soccer, depending on which country you're in. It's Athletic Club Boise and Sporting FC here tonight. The home pitch is scintillating. The action will be fun to watch here tonight. Kickoff comes your way when we return in a moment.
KTVB Plus, streaming live local radar 24/7. Watch as the storm rolls in and check the forecast whenever you want. Stream now and watch for free. Live radar 24/7, only on KTVB Plus.
In 1977, Ford F-Series became America's best-selling trucks. 33 million trucks later, we've kept that title every year since. And that's a formula we plan on repeating. F-Series, America's best-selling trucks for 49 years and counting. And Ford, the most awarded brand for initial quality among trucks by J.D. Power. Ford F-Series, built Ford tough.
One bad turn, one wrong move, and you're down. Bring it. At St. Alphonsus, we see the fractures and the bigger picture. We move fast, sharp minds, steady hands, tech that guides every move. Rep by rep, week by week, we build you back stronger. This isn't just care, it's your comeback. So, bring it.
Every business has a story. Maybe you're just getting started. Maybe you're expanding. Maybe you're ready for a fresh start with a bank that truly cares about your business. We're Banner Bank, and we want your business to succeed, to stay competitive, to get to the next level. And we have a long history of helping businesses just like yours. Banner Bank. Better ideas, better banking.
Tonight's walkout is sponsored by the Idaho Ford Dealers, the official auto partner of Athletic Club Boise. Michael Watrang, Gary Bailey, and our team back with you here in Boise, Idaho, getting ready for kickoff here tonight. Let's take a look at the starting lineups brought to you by the Idaho Ford Dealers. And Nate Miller said he wanted to get some of the players on the bench some exposure in this match. What do you see out of the 11?
Well, 6 of them on the bench from the last match will start, along with 4 that return. Jake Dengler, Jonathan Ricketts, Charlie Adams, Jesus Pereira. They were all part of the 2-1 win over Ford Madison. And on top of that, Keegan Euler, he's back. He's been out for a while. We think it's going to be that sort of 4-3-3 shape. Hansen might push up on that right-hand side. Yaya might drop into more of an attacking mid. We will see exactly how they line up once we get to kickoff.
The Idaho Ford dealers starting 11 for Sporting looks like this, with 4 teenagers in this very young group.
It is a young group. They're giving a lot of kids a chance. There are 2 players who featured in the last match against Cartagenas. We mentioned Oscar Segura up front. Gabriel Leiva got 8 minutes as a sub. Espinoza and Calindris were unused subs. Otherwise, the rest are a bunch of youngsters who are in the U21 team for Sporting FC and looking to make a name for themselves this evening.
So we're just about ready to kick things off here tonight in this international friendly here tonight. This was a game that initially this week was supposed to be against South Georgia Tormenta. It was supposed to be this weekend, but that match no longer able to be played. And for Boise and the season ticket holders, they had to find somebody to step in, and they actively seeked out this opportunity against an international foe, and they landed on Costa Rica's Sporting FC. Boise feeling good, Sporting feeling good, and we're just about ready to rock and roll here this evening. Justin St. Pierre is our center referee for tonight's match. Athletic Club Boise with the white and green kits tonight. Meanwhile, for Sporting, they're sporting their 3rd kits. Beaches and waves, pura vida of our beaches is the saying that they go with.
I like it.
It's the extent of my Spanish.
That's the sort of continental and international flavor that these friendlies do bring when you play teams from different cultures, different countries. It adds a bit of spice to the calendar.
So we're ready to roll here tonight. The ball is put in play, and for the first time ever, it's an international friendly for Boise, playing host to Costa Rica's Sporting. Michael Wattrain, Gary Bailey, and the rest of our team settling in with you here in this matchup. A long ball directs over the top, and it bounces out on the first early chance created by Boise in this game. So let's set the stage for you. During the regular season for Athletic Club Boise, they're in 5th place on the table. There's 1 game going on right now in USL League One. There are also Prince Tire's USL Cup games going on. We'll update you on some of those as we go throughout the evening. But Boise is in a very good position to make the playoffs. However, they do play on the road their next 3 after this friendly tonight. Foul whistle. Sporting on the other side plays in a very good league in Costa Rica. In fact, if you look at Central America in general, the best team in Central America has played in Sporting's league. Alajuelense has won the Central American Cup and CONCACAF each of the last 3 years and advanced to the Champions Cup for the best teams in CONCACAF's region. So that's where we stand right now. What do you expect tonight?
Hard to say what to get. I know it's a fairly strong Boise side because they've used most of their bench. Sporting FC, they've got a lot of youngsters in, certainly talented and looking to make a name for themselves, but will they be able to meet AC Boise's ability on their home ground? But there's so much more to it, as Nate Miller was saying to us. It's a chance for some of these players to get a different culture of soccer, a bit of international experience, a chance maybe spot some good talent from Costa Rica, maybe try and get them to come to Boise. So, and an opportunity, of course, for players on the bench to say, hey, coach, I'm good enough to start. You know, I can do whatever, and I'm going to show you what I can do today.
Early opportunity here inside of the box. A dangle, a touch, a tumble. No whistle. Pops back out. Sporting trying to get the ball out of their area. It's a tackle here. And a foul. That one goes on Emanuele Romero, committing the infraction. Free kick coming up for Boise.
Some discussion going on amongst the guys as to who's going to shoot and what they're going to do. I mean, it isn't a full-scale match where you're going to get flying tackles. There is a sense of relaxation to a point. But as a professional, you know your coach is watching you. Coach of Sporting FC, Andres Karavic. He's going to want to see if any of his young players can stake a claim in the first team. Already, as mentioned, Oscar Segura started the last match. Gabriel Leiva came on. But the rest, they all want to make a name for themselves.
It's going to be this free kick opportunity here. Dominic Gasso lines it up, and he takes the first whack, and it dents the wall and rolls to the sideline, and it ultimately trickles out.
Also, what you want to do if you're a coach, and Nate Miller's a very good coach, has been amazingly successful in this, their first season. The good form of, they've won 5 and drawn 1 of the last 7. That's a great run, and that has taken them, possibly if they keep it going, you would think take them to the top 4 and a home game in the playoffs. They don't want to lose that momentum. They beat Sac Republic 2-0 in the cup, and they just want to win an international friendly just to keep the vibe going here at Athletic Club Boise Stadium. So there's another issue at play here is Boise continuing their good run.
You mentioned Andres Gerovic. He has been well-traveled in his managerial career, including 2 stints with Alajuelense, leading the team to the Central American Cup Championship a couple years ago. Last year was with Cartagenas, and now a new stop and a new look. Has some experience in Liga MX with some of the reserves for Atlante. Here comes Sporting with their first journey across midfield. And a foul. Ignacio Gomez draws the contact. Free kick here for Sporting.
One of the more experienced players, Ignacio Gomez, 27 years of age. As you mentioned, surrounded by 4 or 5 19-year-olds who are out to test their ability here today. But there's a fair level of experience, especially if you include Colindres at 41 years of age.
Leyva lines the field to Barca. Leyva loses it. Trying to get the ball out of trouble, and enough of a push there against Leyva for the foul.
I think Charlie Adams asking the question, seriously, this is meant to be a friendly one? I mean, my ankle's kicked.
Sporting coming off of a 2-1 loss at Cartagenas. They gave up a goal in the 86th minute of that match to fall 2-1. And they'll be back home in 5 days.
They had 2 matches before that, drew against Punta Arenas 1-1 and also against Alajuelense 1-1. So only 2 points from the opening 9, which leaves them 8th out of 10 in the table. But you get the sense that they're going to work their way up there. Too many good players, and all of these matches have been very close that they've played so far. But you have to finish in the top 4 to go into the semi-finals. So last season they finished 6th, unfortunately, didn't make the semis. They'll hope to do better in this, the Apertura, last season being the Clausura.
Euler, one of the men that Nate Miller picked out as players that they're going to need something from the rest of the season. Tonight is the night that he hopes that kickstarts their run. Fascinating 6.5 minutes to start this one. Both teams trying to feel each other out, determine exactly what kind of game we're going to get into here tonight. Adams. Tight turn. Shaban's pass taken away. And this is an excellent lead ball here. Segura looks for choices, rolls the ball along. Ricketts rolls it back. Dema swings it out.
A little glimpse of how quickly they can change in transition there and what a threat they can be. You just saw Joseph Ndema. There's another player who needs to prove something. Lost his place to Cleaver the last while, and Jonathan Cleaver playing very well in goals, but Ndema, I think, was meant to be the #1, so chance for him to show what he can do.
Fits perfectly into the schedule here for Boise to get this opportunity in a friendly. Get ready for the stretch run of the season. They'll play 7 of their final 11 matches on the road in 2026. Ball well out of play. Easy throw, roughly 8 minutes in. The crowd is great as always. Nearly 80,000 people have shown up to watch a Boise match this season. That's 30,000 more than any other team in USL League One to date.
And it's a great crowd as well. I've done a number of their games, and it can buzz when they're playing the right opposition. This place absolutely rocks. They really have done a great job. Ownership, Nate Miller, all in their first year. And again, this is an international match in your very first season of existence. So they're showing to everyone in town as well that they're really aiming to be a club that leads both on and off the pitch.
This is a great town. Had a chance to go there 15 years ago for the first time, and that really opened my eyes to how great Boise can be. One of the more underrated spots in the U.S. Cross in. This one snatched up by Alvarez. Let's take a look at tonight's keys to the game, brought to you by Idaho Ford Dealers.
Well, for AC Boise, give the crowd their money's worth, and this is what Nate Miller was saying. You know, it's a friendly, but people have paid good bucks to come and watch, and you know, we have a name to uphold, so we're not just going to go out and pass the time. We intend to do well. And for Sporting, well, they've come here to build international relations. They're a very go-ahead club, young club, as you mentioned, formed in 2019, and they too are looking to grow their brand. So they want to leave a good impression, not just to those who are there at the game today, but of course everyone watching throughout the States.
Before the match, there was a scarf swap. Saw that a few times fast, following warm-ups and a special walkout ceremony between the two countries, the U.S. and Costa Rica. They will hold a joint press conference after the match. The coaches and captains from each team will chat with local media. The tradition will continue with autographs and photos of Boise players with any fan that wants to hang out and meet the crew. 10 minutes in, we're scoreless. Friendlies sometimes aren't necessarily that word, but so far, been pretty reserved so far between these two sides. Let's see if either group is able to surge ahead here. Sporting nudges out wide. A bark up. Nate Miller said that he thought that some of the best teams in the Primera Division in Costa Rica are right at the top tier of USL Championship team, maybe a notch above, at the highest of ends on their best days. So I felt like this would be a really interesting test within his group.
Again, it would have been even more interesting if it was the full-strength Sporting FC side. And then it would have been a real battle for AC Boise. But nonetheless, there's still enough talent out there to test them. And back to your point about it being a friendly, in my experience, these friendlies, you have an understanding between the players that no one's going to go around sliding tackles, boots up, elbows in faces, which is why Charlie Adams was a bit annoyed when he got kicked after 2 minutes. There's the sense that side of the game you leave behind. The side of the game you want is the quick passing, the clever skills. That's where you want to beat your opposition.
Boise, third most goals in USL League One. But 20 of those have happened in the second half. In terms of the ones that they've conceded for the season. They've only given up 2 goals in the opening 20 minutes all year. So they're pretty steady right at the outset. Typically a team that scores early, they're scoring their team's 7-2 in the first 20 minutes. Let's see if this is one of those moments. Euler crosses it in. It takes a skip. Backpedaling Barea. Barea barrels off of the right post. Well, he wanted the ball earlier in this match, and he shows exactly what he can do. Hits the post for the first time.
If there's one player that Sporting FC will know about and have to keep an eye on, they will know his MLS experience, and that is Jesus Barea. Such a clever player and has already made such a massive impact. And AC Boise are doing so well to get a player of his ability to come and play in League One, and pretty sure he's going to drive them on to success the playoffs this year.
24-year-old. 15 appearances in MLS the last 2 years. And boy, was he a goal-scoring machine when he dropped down to MLS Next Pro. 18 goals and 24 appearances in 2 years with Real Monarchs.
Yeah, we featured him at the start. We were just talking about his touch, his awareness. He just brings it up to a different level, and that's good for the players around him. I'm sure Nate Miller very excited that the rest of the players can learn from his ability to scan. Already here, head up, looking at options, weighing it up all the time. That's what the extra quality players can bring.
Adams. Euler. Correa. Seems pretty intentional from Sporting so far to try to defend. Take their chances when they can counterattack. Switch of field here. Euler corrals Ricketts. Thinks about this one. Now floats it across the park. This is a good test for Boise to see how they handle this low block and how they can thread the needle through lines. Miller talking about Central American teams in general and the experience that he's had with them, and says that there is definitely a little bit of a difference between how they play there versus how the game is played in the U.S. It's a bump, it's a foul, and it's a free kick. Coming up, brought to you by San Alphonsus.
Ignacio Gomez, 27-year-old there. Experienced player, so surprised that he gives a foul away on the edge of the box. He doesn't need to nibble. He's got the forward going away from goal. He's not a danger, he's not a threat. I was going to say the one thing that Central South American teams are renowned for is their professionalism. Comes under the guise of slowing the game down, killing the game, you name it, whatever, but very hard to play against, and something for American players to learn from.
This ball curls around to the back post and out. First 2,500 fans in attendance today. Got a purple rally towel, and if you swing by a concession stand, which I think I saw you down there, Gary, loaded pulled pork hot dogs are available.
It is an amazing crowd, amazing support. You were mentioning it. Such a vibe, and this their first season. The town seems to have got behind them, and they've got behind them in a more European way. The sing-songs, the vibe, the bouncing up and down, the standing room, which is how European football used to be watched back in the day. A lot of teams have taken that away, and they've lost something. Well, Boise have brought it back. I think they're becoming a center, and that's what they said. They want to be the center of focus for the town, both in terms of youth development and in terms of entertainment on the weekend.
Of course, for so long, the way that fans could check things out was with Boise State Broncos and that blue stadium turf that made itself so famous over the years with that great Boise State program. And now you get the professional team here, and in the summertime, it has been just a joy to watch this group grow. And Nate Miller hoping that it will extend, and believes that his team in the final 11 games of the year can make their push for a top 4 spot, a home game, and perhaps a run in the USL League One postseason.
You can see the 3-back system there for Sporting FC, pushing both wing-backs high up the pitch, especially number 37 on this right side, Fernando Jose Abaca. And that's the style in which they are most comfortable, the 3 at the back. One of them, 19-year-old, in fact 2 of them are 19-year-old centre-back. So again, just showing how they're bringing some good youth players through.
Correa loses it. It's well read here, and a chance to line one up. Romero loses it right into Euler.
Romero, just 18 years of age, the youngest player on the pitch here today. One 18-year-old, 3 19-year-olds for Sporting FC. And a couple of 22s and 23s and 21 in goals for AC Boise.
mentioned it earlier in the match, but this is an opportunity for some of those young players to get recruited by some of these U.S. teams. Nate Miller saying that it's happened with him plenty of times in his coaching career, whatever stop he's been at, that they've either played against somebody or they've been in a tournament of some kind. They've gone abroad and they've found players that they ultimately either ended up signing or at least bringing in for training to see if they can fit in with the club. Adams, Mosheban charges past one man, tried to give it over for Barea. Started to lose his grip a little bit on the turf.
I'm going to say, sorry, Mosheban, one of those players has come off the bench. The quality of this Boise squad, of a player like Mosheban, is not a regular starter, and it is phenomenal. They really are stacked, and you know, I think you've got to look at them as not just a top 4 finish, but I think potentially to go on and win the championship this year.
Of course, if you followed the USL Championship for a long time, a lot of former San Diego Loyal players on the squad. That team was always a joy to watch. It's a pretty good run there. Ultimately ends at the top of the 18. Nate Miller and company have done a great job of bringing in some of the younger players as well as that experienced group. Mosheban stumbles and draws the foul. I don't think he was ever going to get to the second ball, but Rojas sticks the leg in there and commits the foul.
Rojas, the 19-year-old centre-back, just learning his trade at the expense of poor old Tumi Mosheban at 31. The leg is out, yes, but Mosheban very cleverly sort of aims for the leg and going towards the ball and gets a free kick in a really good position.
Mosheban, 31 years of age. Lansing, San Diego, El Paso, Charlotte, and now here in Boise. He has seen a bunch of different scenarios and games in his time. And it looks like there's a convention behind the ball to see who wants this.
Are they going to draw lots or something? I guess it's the one time you can take a free kick as in a friendly, because normally you have designated, you know, free kick takers. You probably say, come on, let me have a go for a change. But they've probably gone to their regular free kick strikers.
Well, Jesus Barea picked the short straw last time, so he didn't get selected to take the free kick. This time, he's denying his chance. He's going to set it up. 20+ minutes in of a scoreless international friendly between Boise and Costa Rica Sporting. Michael Watrain, Gary Bailey, and our team with you here. So good to have you with us, enjoying a historic matchup. There's a wall bigger than any that I have in my house in front of the kick here. Now Barea has the whistle, walks it off once more. Jesus Barea puts a charge into this and just misses wide right. Well, he's had the 2 best chances. He's hit a post from similar distance in the run of play, and this one misses wide right.
It wasn't far wide. You can see the number of bodies in front of the goalkeeper. Hard for him to see the ball. But what they're doing, because AC Boise have a couple of players in front, they had to sort of fill in the gaps, Sporting FC. So it just became a line of players, 8 or 9 in front of goalkeeper Johnny Alvarez. And as I say, hard for him to see the strike, and he was scrambling to get across the goal.
Adams steals that errant pass. Well, Athletic Club Boise in its first season might be looking at Sporting a little bit in terms of a platform for what the future could look like. Talk about Sporting being founded in June of 2019. They started in the 2nd division in Costa Rica and immediately earned promotion a year later. Frost comes in over everybody and bounces out. And that is a league that has teams that are close to 100 years old over there, that have been well established, that have built the backing, and yet they've been in the mix for postseason positioning and perhaps more. In the Clausura last year, 6th place finish, 22 points, just outside of the postseason push. For Athletic Club Boise, they're trying to gain their foothold in this USL group, and of course, we're a couple of years away from Pro Rel coming to USL, and who knows what Boise's future looks like in the next 5 years.
Exactly. Bring that on. Excuse me. Promotion, relegation. Wow. Is that going to change the landscape, I think, anyway, of US soccer? And you're quite right. Teams like Boise haven't got Nate Miller and all these good players in for no reason. I'm sure they see huge progress up the divisions in times to come. And I presume the stadium will be big enough to take it all the way to the top of the USL pyramid. And certainly they have the backing, and that's what's going to make it exciting. Of course, there's the reverse. You could have teams who are established who find themselves dropping down the divisions. And when you look at England, for example, in the second tier of the Championship, they are European Cup winners, European Cup finalists. Anyway, perhaps Derby, Nottingham Forest, when they were down there, European Cup winners. Leeds United played in the final, and they were down in the second division, or the Championship second tier. So it's part. You got to take the knocks as well.
Skips past the first man. It's picked up, rolled across, and it just misses wide. That was Barea again at the forefront, looking for choices.
Oh, some poor defending there. That ball comes past one of the Sporting FC players. I think it was Espinoza, the number 3, and just allows Jesus Barea a little bit of a chance. It's a tight angle. He's got to get it past the keeper and tuck it in that corner post, and just misses it. And there was a couple of players, I think Omar Yaya was in the middle saying, well, why don't you square it to me? And that's a fair question to have asked. He was in a much better position.
Ricketts comes leaping in to win the header. There's no whistle here as it's picked up by Yaya. He loops it across. It's taken down by the first defender. There are 2 players down, 1 for each side. Now make it 3. And Sporting come out of the pack with it. Their ocean blue jerseys flood the attack.
It certainly has been the Jesus Barea show so far. And the Sporting FC have just done the containment job, as you mentioned. Just sort of trying to soak up the pressure and ease themselves into the match. Again, bringing international techniques and style of football, very common away from home, just to keep it tight early on, and they do it so well, the Central and South American teams. But Jesus Barea now 3 chances, hitting the post on one of them. The free kick just flew by, and the chance a moment ago. He's been the main excitement in this match so far. And if you use a word of the Europeans, the main protagonist.
Leyva commits the foul. Sporting, though, continue their run, but the flag is up for offside on a rare journey forward from the Costa Rican side so far. Time now for tonight's St. Alphonsus injury report. Nobody reporting anything at this point. A couple games into the year for Sporting. A good sign for Boise as they seem to be healthy at this point in the season, with a nice long rest coming up after tonight. 10 days until their next match. They'll travel to Knoxville, Tennessee. Euler. Nice cross, nullified. Leyva gets pushed.
Good skills from Leyva there. Got 8 minutes against Cartagenas in the last match. Clearly a very skillful player there. Earns himself the free kick with a little touch of the foot. Have a look at it again. Goes one way and then the other. And then gets a shove. Nice skills. And their next match is next Monday. They've got a little bit of time, but they still obviously don't want to play too many of their first teamers. They will be up against Escorpiones at home on Monday.
They actually brought that one back and gave Ignacio Gomez a yellow card. Yellow card presented by Diamond Heating and Cooling. Well, it'll take you 76 hours to drive from San Jose, Costa Rica to Boise, Idaho. A little bit more palatable for a flight, but the majority of the time you have to find a connecting flight, so it's a pretty lengthy journey between the two towns, San Jose, Costa Rica.
First visit for Sporting FC to the States, and only their second ever trip outside of Costa Rica to play soccer, and their first one was their pre-season, which was only 3 matches in, so it was in July, and that was in Mexico. Had a couple of games there. They're just trying to broaden their cultural and footballing horizons by playing in these international friendlies.
Top it is. Long distance chance if he wants it. Gasso unleashes. Makes it wide right.
Could be some excitement for the crowd no matter what happens, because if there's a draw, it goes to penalties at the end of normal time. So maybe we've still got that excitement to come at the end of this match.
Mochaban. Gasso. Adams. Barea. He's been the star of the match so far. Euler tucks it back. A miss-hit clearance. Circling again is Barea. He was leaning back and nearly stumbled to the ground as he sends it towards the river guard.
That was a difficult one. He was going away from goal, so to swivel and hit that and bend it in towards the top corner. I mean, that's oh, that would have been some golazo if he managed to pull that off, but shows the confidence he's feeling, a man with all the MLS experience. And again, a goal, a couple of assists in his first 4 matches. He's certainly having a big impact here in Boise.
I've spoken with coaches around the USL Championship, League One. Sometimes when you have a player that gets some playing time in MLS, much like Barea, a test in League One or the Championship can be more so mental than it can be physical. And for Barea, I think the motivation is there for him to reach back up. Ricketts steals this ball. Mochaban back for Ricketts. Excellent passing. Mochaban has it ricochet off of his left leg and back to the keeper, Alvarez.
Well, it certainly has been Barea doing all the action, but mention Mochaban as well. He's been tricky around the edge of the box. He's been probing, he's been dribbling and running at defenders. And second to Barea, I think he's had a really good match so far.
Let's see if Sporting are able to get something off here in the final quarter hour of the first half of a scoreless game. International friendly here. Athletic Club Boise. Winners of 3 of its last 5 against Sporting from Costa Rica. 3 matches in. They're currently in 8th out of 10 teams in the Primera Division.
I also like their sort of aim, their strategic aim for the club. They say they put processes over immediate results. Now, that's pretty rare in soccer. Virtually every ownership wants immediate success, wants you to be near the top, wants you to be in the playoffs. But they've made it very clear that this is a long-term project. It's about youth development. It's about being part of the community. And so they say they put their processes over their immediate results. So coach has been there a year already, Andres Kerevic, which can be a long time in soccer in our world, and especially in Central and South America. Coaches don't always stay for a long time. So glad to see they have a long-term view.
This opportunity is pummeled by Leyva. First shot of the game. Ends up whistling high.
Just off balance when he hit that. Look, goes to his left. Played in every one of the 3 matches so far this season. As mentioned, only 8 minutes against Cartagena's got 75 minutes.
This ball stolen, and this shot goes over the top of the bar. This time it was Daniel Melindres. The 41-year-old is a 6-time Costa Rican national champion, and he was in Russia in 2018 with the Costa Rican national team at the World Cup.
And that's a good chance, really good chance. One for him by Lever, as we were just saying, played in all 3 matches so far this season, so a key player. Managed to get turnover ball and set up his slightly more experienced 41-year-old teammate.
When did you retire? How old were you?
30, but I retired.
30?
I retired through injury, unfortunately.
Just couldn't keep it going to 41.
I would love to. And goalkeepers can, but sometimes, you know, you get a bad injury and you don't recover. And while we've got a second, just to tell you a story, I was feeling a bit sorry for myself, and the England doctor had to come check me out. And he said, I want to introduce you to someone. He took me into a different physio's room, and there was a 17-year-old with terrible tackle and knee all over the place, and stitches and everything else. And he said, this kid will never play soccer again. And he said, you might be feeling down because your career ends at 30 after 10 years with Man United. He said, but this kid will never even get his career going. So he said, go off, find a new career. He said, and don't ever feel sorry for yourself again. And I thought, wow, that was a brilliant piece of psychology, because that's exactly what I did. I then started a new career, and always counted my blessings for having at least 10 years. But yeah, I could have gone a bit further if luck had been on my side. Yeah.
Absolutely is a great story, and certainly something that keep in mind with young players on both teams trying to get their careers rolling. And you were mentioning the youth that Sporting is looking at with the developmental process that they have in mind and what they're trying to accomplish. And certainly it's a reason why Costa Rica has benefited from that as a nation at the World Cup over the years, is because of their willingness and the resources that they've put in to players at young ages. And this man's been at the forefront of that. Andres Karavic leading some of those Costa Rican club teams deep into international tournaments.
By the way, talking about great Costa Rican players, their goalkeeper, Keylor Navas, is probably one of the best from Central America of all time. Fantastic keeper for Real Madrid and for his country. And certainly when you talk about great goalkeepers of, 15, 20 years ago, Keylor Navas' name comes up time and again.
And that was as synonymous with CONCACAF competitions as anybody. If you're a U.S. fan, you know all about his exploits, slowing down the Americans time and time again in key competitions. Starting to find a little bit of rhythm here in their attack. Cross curls to the left-hand side, defended here. That shot attempt ricochets off the side netting.
It's Gomez there having a little shot from that left-hand side. All set up once again by Gabriel Leyva. He really is pulling the strings for his team at the moment.
Fans, if Athletic Club Boise scores 3 goals, you win. Athletic Club Boise has partnered with Restore Hyper Wellness to provide you with a $25 gift certificate. Head on over to either Meridian or Boise location to redeem.
Mayaya just causing a few problems there and winning himself a free kick. Playing quite high up in attack. So many good attacking players for Boise here today. We mentioned Moshaban and Beret, of course, but Johansson can cause problems. Mayaya attacks as an advanced midfielder. Dominic Gasso can get on the edge of the box and hit 1 or 2 with these long-range shots. So they really do pose a lot of problems for Sporting FC.
Euler with a delightful first touch. Swings it in, sent out. Here is Gasso. Rica tries to slow. Now pesters and commits the foul. Of the season for Athletic Club Boise. A lot of games against the middle of the pack in League One. 2 against the top 4, 2 against the 5 teams with less than 20 points in the league. So that middle of the league is going to be jumbled, and Boise hopes that they can separate themselves in those head-to-head battles. Alvarez catches. Always intentional about the opportunities for international matches to come here. They explored chances with several different clubs. Of course, the calendar aligning with Central American teams playing at this time of the year. There's 4 different Central American teams playing in the CONCACAF Central American Cup this month in the group stage. So teams from that country, not strangers to playing midweek matches, having to do a ton of travel at the beginning of the season. And while those teams are getting the extra games in, opportunity opened up for Sporting to play here in the U.S., and they seized on their chance. Adams can't take the ball away. Leva shows a little skill. Gallops past that slide attempt. Oshaban steals it back, but leaves it right for Segura. Colindres. Gomez. Colindres again. Sporting have been better in the attack in the last 5 minutes. Colindres goes down, free kick coming up. And the Costa Rican side might have a chance here to make inroads at the first goal of the match.
That's gone exactly to plan for Sporting FC. You know, just soak up the pressure early on, get to figure things out. You know, where your opponent's strengths are, so you've got numbers back that you can deal with those strengths like Moshaban and Barea, and then slowly when you've figured it out and you've seen where the dangers are, you start to just take control a bit more. And certainly Gabriel Leva's done that, the number 6. Very impressive. And as to your point, just before halftime, they're beginning to feel it now and think, well, okay, we've got the measure of AC Boise. Let's see what we can do going forward.
We've seen a couple free kicks from Boise. This time we'll see it from Sporting. And it is Colindres backing up on top of it. Daniel Colindres crushes. Sliding stop made by Ndema. Had to get that left hand out to push it aside.
A good save from the goalkeeper. It is his side of the goal, so he should be able to make the save, but nonetheless, you've got to do it. And what's more important, he pushes it away from danger. Doesn't push it into traffic. He pushes it down the line. You could see there was actually a player there, Oscar Segura, just waiting to tap that one in if Joseph Ndema had dropped it short.
Barca crosses off of the throw. Sidewinding ball goes right down the backside of Colindres. Moshaban got the left foot on it. Will there be a goal before the end of the first half in this international friendly between Boise and Costa Rica Sporting? Dangler takes no chances there and feeds it down the park.
It's become a little bit different for AC Boise. Early on, they were controlling everything. Now they're scrambling a bit, and they do get it. It's a big boot down the pitch, and they lose possession again. And you do get the sense that Sporting FC, when they start to get control, they're a good footballing side, and they know how to knock it around. The pressure there was hunting in packs now. They making it difficult for Charlie Adams and company to play through.
Boise answer with the goal before the break. India gets the ball back. Didn't hit that ball all that hard. And squibs into the box. And 2 men hit the deck. It's a foul on Ricketts. And I think as he was yanking down, is that Segura? It hit Segura in the head.
They're both tugging each other a little bit, but Segura came off worst on that one and gets the free kick. There was a chance there for a cross from Musa Nye, and he just didn't quite connect with the ball there. 6-7 yards out at an angle. If he whips that back in with pace, would have been a chance for Boise, but just scuffs the cross. Opportunity lost.
Segura was the target, knocked away. Palindris back into the attack. Leyva goes down. The official runs away. Barea. Sporting squeezing things a little bit more here in the first half in their press.
Yeah, that's exactly what they're doing. They're just much quicker to the press now than they were before. Just measuring it. Now they feel comfortable dealing with the threats up front. They just push them maybe an extra player into midfield and they hunt very quickly. That's some of the few times now Boise are on the front foot.
Adams sends it out wide. Euler lofts it across and it stays in play. Moshaban couldn't get the leg out of the turf. Well, Alvarez let that one go and it nearly spelled a disaster as we have 2 minutes of first half stoppage time.
You make a good point there about the goalkeeper. You've got a choice as a keeper. You either come or you shout away, but he seemed to comfort and then the last minute decide not to, and that confused his defenders. And that was another little half chance for Boise.
At the other end of the field, Segura for Gomez. Barbosa blasts. Always elevating in the end as it goes out. First 45 minutes, meet your expectations so far?
It has. Both sides have put in a fair amount of effort. We don't expect flying tackles, but they've chased. Certainly Sporting closing down a lot more in the last 5 to 10 minutes. There's been a lot of attacking opportunities for Boise. So all in all, it needs a goal, ideally. But other than that, I think it's been a decent first half.
Maybe it'll come here. Yeah, back. Shot attempt, whistles in. Alvarez smothers. Yeah, second chance. Curls it into the box. Barea gets ahead on it. And it's sent away. Only as far as the top of the 18, however. Leyva. Looking for outlets. And a half minute to go here in the first half of a scoreless friendly.
Certainly had quite a few chances, Boise. And you do feel that they could have and should have buried them. A couple of games ago, they were doing 0-0 at home against Corpus Christi. And a ton of chances, didn't take them. And then in the end, Cleaver had to make a couple of really good saves to keep Boise in the match. It seems to be a repeat of that, where if you don't take your chances against good opposition, and they could take theirs, and you can find yourself coming away from the match with nothing.
And that's where we sit. 45 minutes in the books in this international friendly. Both teams took their chances at the end of the first half, but we stand at a stalemate. It's Boise 0 and Sporting from Costa Rica 0. Been a fun one to watch so far. Sporting from Costa Rica enjoying this friendly matchup here in Boise, Idaho. First ever international friendly for Athletic Club Boise. It's halftime here at Expo, Idaho. Step out for a break. Halftime comes your way next.
Hey, buddy. Why aren't we catching anything? I bet they're deeper down. Mom?
Unexpected plumbing issues? Diamond can help with prompt, reliable, high-quality service. Call the amazing team at Diamond Heating, Cooling, Plumbing, and Electric. From leaky faucets and broken pipes to water heaters and softeners, Diamond's 5-star heroes can help. Diamond.
Your home's best friend.
Every business has a story. Maybe you're just getting started. Maybe you're expanding. Maybe you're ready for a fresh start with a bank that truly cares about your business. We're Banner Bank, and we want your business to succeed, to stay competitive, to get to the next level. And we have a long history of helping businesses just like yours. Banner Bank. Better ideas, better banking.
I want to do more of the things I'm called to, so I'm going to go give my body the fuel and the nourishment that it needs to do that as often as I possibly can. If you want to come in and get an IV and get compression and get infrared, get the mild hyperbaric chamber in 150 locations around the country where we're traveling, we can find that. And so I think that's what makes it special, is it's a one-stop shop for health, for fuel. But the reason I come here is because it gives me the chance to do more.
From the beginning, Idaho has been home. Since 1968, we've stayed true to what matters most. Hard work, local ranching, and exceptional beef. As pioneers of American Wagyu, we're involved every step of the way, from ranch to table. Unforgettable beef, done right, by people who care. Snake River Farms, proud supporters of Athletic Club Boise.
Halftime here in Boise, Idaho. The score at the break is brought to you by Big Bun Drive-In. 0-0 is the score at halftime. Let's look back at some memories of the World Cup in the USL here from Boise.
In the middle of the 2026 World Cup, Carlos Lamosa is focused on something else. The head coach of San Antonio FC is navigating his club through the midway point of the USL Championship season. But nearly a quarter century ago, the World Cup was Lamosa's dream come true.
Well, that was a unique experience for many reasons. First, that was the first World Cup of the century. That was the first time the World Cup happens in 2 different countries. And that was the first time that happens in Asia.
The 2002 World Cup is to date the best performance by the U.S. men's national team. A stunning victory over Portugal in the group stage. A shutout of arch rival Mexico in the round of 16, with South Korea's 13-hour time difference to U.S. Eastern Time. Americans had to be creative for live overnight matches. Bars were open at 4 in the morning making breakfast for your matches. Were you aware of all of that at the time?
We found out being there in Korea. They show us videos of footage from TV networks, having a watching party at 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning. Also for me, I have Colombian news going to my parents' house in Colombia in the middle of the night to do interviews when we were playing live.
In 2026, the World Cup includes more than 40 players whose careers were touched by different levels of USL. Lamosa now has a seat to watching players chase their own World Cup dreams.
Here from our academy from San Antonio, we have a player representing the U.S. on the U17 qualifier. That's a very important league in the U.S. soccer developmental program.
This week on USL All Access, we get you ready for the quarterfinals in Brinks Tire's USL Cup. Plus some of the biggest results, including Tampa Bay's throttling of Orange County, that very much sets the tone for the Players' Shield race down the stretch. That's this week on USL All Access, available on the SiriusXM app or the USL YouTube page.
There's a reason why people fill truck beds. Try viral hacks. Find shade. Use outdoor fridges. Garage fridges. Freezers too. Oops. And there's a reason why our mountains turn blue when your beer is ready. Because people don't just like beer. People like cold beer. Coors Light, cold as the Rockies.
What the tech? Bad office tech is the worst. But guess what? You don't have to put up with it anymore. Fisher's Technology makes IT, printing, and security crazy easy so you can focus on what really matters. We're your local tech experts with personality, proudly serving the Northwest with managed IT services, copiers and printers, document automation, security cameras, and more. We make office tech simple and stress-free. So if your office needs a tech glow up, it's time to call Fisher's. Tech yeah.
One bad turn. One wrong move. And you're down. Bring it. At St. Alphonsus, we see the fractures and the bigger picture. We move fast. Sharp minds, steady hands, tech that guides every move. Rep by rep, week by week, we build you back stronger. This isn't just care, it's your comeback. So, bring it.
First alert weather indeed. We have team coverage tonight.
We'll jump right into those first alert weather conditions.
Conditions almost couldn't be more prime for this wildfire to grow.
And a lot of those gusty winds will start to pick up here through tomorrow.
It will also be very hot outside today, so heat-related illnesses are still a concern.
Just making sure people are prepared.
On First Alert Weather Days, stream extended coverage on the KTVB app.
In 1977, Ford F-Series became America's best-selling trucks. 33 million trucks later, we've kept that title every year since. And that's a formula we plan on repeating. F-Series, America's best-selling trucks for 49 years and counting. And Ford, the most awarded brand for initial quality among trucks by J.D. Power. Ford F-Series, built Ford tough.
Halftime brought to you by Big Bun Drive-In. Is Boise nil and Sporting nil in this international friendly. Michael Watcher and Gary Bailey and our team back with you here at halftime. And here's what's coming up for Athletic Club Boise, and it is a tough road trip coming up. They go to Tennessee not once, but twice in the next 2 weeks. Knoxville and then Chattanooga. FC Naples on September 5th, the trip to Florida, and then a home match against Cosmos, and then to Spokane. But if you take a look at the overall run of form here, they play 7 of their final 11 on the road, and Ford Madison drew with Greenville tonight, so that's 1 point. And if you're Boise, you're thinking, we'll take that any day of the week, because Ford Madison has a couple games in hand against Athletic Club Boise, and the point against the 14th place Greenville side helps potentially swing that door open. Here's where Boise sits on the table. They're 34 points, 5 points off of second, 7 points off of first place Union Omaha. Otherwise, it is in good position to make the postseason. Scoreless, though, at the break here in Boise. We'll step out for a break. Let's take a look back at the first half highlights in the second half kick when we come back.
Every business has a story. Maybe you're just getting started. Maybe you're expanding. Maybe you're ready for a fresh start with a bank that truly cares about your business. We're Banner Bank, and we want your business to succeed, to stay competitive, to get to the next level. And we have a long history of helping businesses just like yours. Banner Bank. Better ideas, better banking.
One bad turn. One wrong move. And you're down. Bring it. At St. Alphonsus, we see the fractures and the bigger picture. We move fast. Sharp minds, steady hands, tech that guides every move. Rep by rep, week by week, we build you back stronger. This isn't just care, it's your comeback. So, bring it.
Now back in the days when rock and roll had just begun, great food was rocking at the Big Bun. The We're still going strong in the very same place with burgers and finger steaks, Sundays and Boston shakes, humming a Fiji face. Big Bun, lots of fun. Pull up to the window. Big Bun, lots of fun. And making it just so old time goodness you can grab on the run. Big Bun, lots of fun.
From the beginning, Idaho has been home. Since 1968, we've stayed true to what matters most. Hard work, local ranching, and exceptional beef. As pioneers of American Wagyu, we're involved every step of the way, from ranch to table. Unforgettable beef, done right, by people who care. Snake River Farms, proud supporters of Athletic Club Boise.
Our Big Bun Drive-In halftime report continues here with Boise and Sporting. Scoreless through 45 minutes of play. Michael and Gary back with you here. And we're just about ready to start off the second half, but let's take our look back at the first half of play. And in the 13th minute, it looked like Jesus Perea was going to open the scoring. First half highlights presented by Banner Bank.
Probably the closest we've come all game to a goal. He hits this really well outside of the post. Goalkeeper Johnny Alvarez barely moved for that one. And another opportunity also Perea. This one just flashes past that post. So he's hit that same post, missed it by a couple of inches. This time Alvarez might have had it covered. And then he kept on the pressure in here. Now, could he have squared it? If you have a look at Yaya, Omar Yaya was available just for the pull back there. So too was Moshaban.
And then in the 33rd minute, we started to see some chances brew for Sporting. This was Leyva hitting the ball over the top of the crossbar. And this was just a start for Sporting in the final 10 minutes of play as they started to take their chances. Moments after that, off of a goal kick, Kalindris nearly opened the scoring.
Leyva again setting up Kalindris, who should have done better, annoyed with himself afterwards. Got to hit the target and he got right under that shot. But yeah, the momentum had changed. It had shifted very much to the visitors. And here they have another chance shot from out wide there coming from Ignacio Gomez.
And Gomez hits the outside netting. And for about 30 minutes, Sporting were doing nothing in the attack. But then once again, a free kick. Kalindris hits the ball well and it requires a save.
Yeah, and Demmer just knocking it away from traffic down the line. Decent save from the goalkeeper, to be fair. Didn't have much to do to keep him occupied then. Just towards the end, shot coming in straight at Johnny Alvarez, who makes the save. But certainly they were peppering the goals, where AC Boise just couldn't get the breakthrough.
So that's how the half came to an end. Halftime highlights brought to you by Banner Bank. And we're just about ready to start off the second half of this one. And as is always the case, when you play friendlies, we expect to see some substitutions. Granted, Sporting only brought 6 players on their bench here this evening, so not necessarily as deep as you would hope for an international friendly. Of course, it is a deep bench for Nate Miller and his crew. We'll see what decisions are made in that department as we close in on the second half. But let's quickly take a quick glance around the Frank Steyer's USL Cup. A couple League One teams in action, and the night got started with Hartford beating Charlotte by a 4-2 tally. The 2 goals for Charlotte came very late in that game. They had already trailed 4-0. An own goal got them on the board, and then Manning scored to make it 4-2. But Hartford, the reigning champs in the competition, 20 shots in the game, they advance into the semifinals. Between Tampa Bay and Lou City, that was supposed to be a great matchup, but in the end, the XG ended up being just a shade above 1. Lou City didn't have a shot on target through 90 minutes, but they win in pens 5-3, and Louisville City advances to the semifinals. San Antonio playing host to Miami, and it is 2 goals from Christian Pirano, 20 minutes apart. Aiden Rocha gets one in the 79th minute. Arnie Rocha, rather, gets one in the 79th minute to make it 2-1 San Antonio onto the semifinals. And then, just as it was the case in the U.S. Open Cup, Spokane, Colorado Springs, that game is tied at a goal apiece as Luis Heel scored in the 14th minute, and then Jonas Fjellberg answered in the 30th minute. And much like that Open Cup matchup where Colorado Springs outshot Spokane 30-3, it is 9-1 in shots in that game. It's currently in the 73rd minute of the Frank Steyer's USL Cup. Now you're seeing a couple changes right there. Sargis and Mayaka are going to come in here at halftime. We'll try to update you on every other change that might happen here at the break. There's a lot of paperwork goes into that, and the officials have to get it right before we can report it to you. But 2 changes for sure for Athletic Club Boise here before the start of the second half.
I'm just wondering if Sporting FC will make their changes, because their bench is mostly young kids. So I'm sure we'll see some of them, especially towards the end of the game. Wouldn't have thought they'd want to make too many changes at this stage. Otherwise, it becomes a very, very young side if they take off some of their experienced players. So probably they'll keep their changes for a little while, but we'll find out fairly soon.
It looks like Costa is coming in as well. So the 3 men that are coming out, Ricketts, Adams, and Dengler are the 3 that are coming out for the aforementioned. Kostashin, Mayaka, and Sargis. And that's just the first wave of changes we expect. Haven't heard officially anything from the Sporting side on whether or not they'll make any changes, but as we mentioned, just 5 field players available off the pine tonight. And when we spoke with Nate Miller yesterday, he talked about this season is going to be defined likely by the players that are, say, in that 15, 16, 17 range on the chart. Might not necessarily be the starters, but they are influential as key bench players, key reserves within the group. International coaches like to call them finishers. And it feels like those moments, they might not necessarily get the goals, they might not necessarily get the big moments, but they could be the players that have the heaviest of influences on the entirety of the season. And that's what tonight is all about in this international friendly, is to see which of that secondary group can play that influential role in the final 11 regular season matches of the year, and they hope more in the postseason. Second half starts, and it is 0-0 between Athletic Club Boise and Sporting from Costa Rica. Michael Watering, Manchester United goalkeeper Gary Bailey, and our entire crew enjoying the action for you in this one here tonight. One more half to go in this first ever friendly for Athletic Club Boise, and it's been a treat to be here on this historic night in front of yet another terrific crowd. All substitutions brought to you by Athletic Brewing.
Well, they're pretty positive substitutions if you have a look at them. Yaka coming on, he's going to attack from midfield. Of course, Dennis Kostashin has scored some cracking goals. There's one against Greenville Triumph. We were watching it before the show started. Left foot shot into the top corner from a tight angle. So he'll bring on something special as well. So I would like to think we'll be treated to some good goals here in this second half.
Boise have scored the 3rd most second half goals in the league this year, 18 of them all told. Here is Kostashin's first intervention of the match. Shaman, his pass knocked away. Mayaka chases Kalindris, promptly gives the ball away. Boise unbeaten in 4 straight. They haven't lost here since July 2nd. A 2-1 setback to Knoxville. Hansen, and that last shot before halftime, gets whistled for the foul. While tonight is the first ever friendly for Athletic Club Boise, it's not the first ever friendly that the city has ever seen. Ownership group, including Bill Taylor, who spent 3 years as the vice president of the U.S. Soccer Federation Board of Directors, were instrumental in organizing the first ever major international soccer friendly in 2015. Nearly 22,000 fans showed up at Albertson Stadium. That's, of course, the home of Boise State's football program, to watch Spain's Athletic Club Bilbao and Liga MX Club Tijuana. And Bilbao scored twice in the opening 23 minutes and beat Tijuana by a 2-0 tally. And that was just the start of the appetite for the taste of professional sport in soccer. And of course, they bring in Athletic Club Boise nearly a decade later. Emma in a very curious position, even more so made by that long pass back. And now here comes Boise building out of the back. Mayaka. Just trying to find a home at this point in his career. Still just 25 years of age. Highly touted prospect coming out of Clemson. He came out with Camarnie Smith, 2 of the top 4 picks in the MLS Super Draft that year for former Tigers. Mayaka has journeyed from Colorado Springs, Colorado Rapids, Crown Legacy, Huntsville, and now to Boise.
He's taken that more attacking midfield role, and Dominic Gasso has just dropped deeper.
Yeah. Takes a swing at that, and it's swatted down, and it looks like there's a new goalkeeper for Sporting. Rodide Leal comes into the game and replaces Johnny Alvarez.
Gets tested straight away. Comfortable enough. Maybe could have kept it in play, but given that it's his first touch, we'll let him off. He's 24 years of age is Rodney Leal.
Sockeye Bruin corner kick. Gasso lifts it across over everybody as it bounces outside of the 18. And that shot attempt will leave a little bit more to be desired. If you look at Sporting, they have a couple men that are part of their upper echelon on the coaching staff, as well as sporting director, that played very influential roles during their playing careers. Mayaka gets knocked down, so the foul will stop the play here. He's wearing the captain's armband at this point. Michael Umana, who is one of the assistant coaches on this Sporting group, had over 100 caps with the Costa Rica national team, represented the nation at the 2006 and 2014 World Cups. He reached the 2014 quarterfinal in Brazil. He scored the decisive 5th penalty kick in the shootout victory against Greece in the round of 16. And he, of course, played in the United States, winning an MLS Cup and a US Open Cup for the LA Galaxy in his time. There he is right there in the green, just about to sit down.
Those are the sort of players you want to have, or former players you want to have on the coaching staff. They can go back to their experiences. You've got one on the pitch in Daniel Colindres, as you mentioned, World Cup 2018, 41 years of age. One on the bench, and those are the players who in the locker room can just guide the youngsters. Mentioned 5 or 6, 19 and younger here for Sporting FC. Talking of older players, Colindres of 41, somehow don't think he's going to see the full 90 minutes. And neither at Gabriel Leiva, the 31-year-old. I'm pretty sure that they will save their legs and bring on some subs in particular for those two at some stage.
Well, if he does, you can get me one of those loaded pulled pork hot dogs before we leave tonight. Well, the sporting director for Sporting, Jose Miguel Cubero, 54 caps with the Costa Rica national team. He was also on the World Cup roster in 2014 in Brazil. Spent time with Alajuelense and others in Costa Rica, and he's a part of the squad planning and recruitment for Sporting. Costa out of the reach of Yaya.
I think he brings on an extra energy, Dennis Kostishin. He's such a clever player, and he's very direct as well. Runs at defenses, forces them to commit. good striker of a ball from distance, so wouldn't surprise me if causes Sporting FC a few problems, Costa, and they might have to regroup and rethink how they're going to play out from the back.
Excellent touch here. Segura smashes. Ends up going high in the end. But just showcasing a little bit of that skill for one of the teenagers in this starting 11 tonight. Well, if you're Boise, how do you get a little bit more clinical in the attack and find a goal?
That's a good question. I'm not even sure Nate Miller knows the answer, because they're good players. They should be able to finish it off. And again, going back to that Corpus Christi match a couple of games ago, it was exactly the same problem. What you're seeing here today is what you saw then. Good chance creation around the edge of the box, shots on goal, but just that little moment of magic missing. And it might still come here. There's going to be plenty of time for it.
Well, it's Barea here, who's been at the forefront of a lot of chances. Mayaka. Costa swings it in for that back post run, and that is an excellent read right there by Leal. Comes into the game. He made a long run across to reach in front to ensure that his defense doesn't have to handle it.
Yeah, it's back to your point that you mentioned about AC Boise. It applies to Sporting FC as well. It's a chance for fringe players to make a name for themselves, to come out, and that's what we all did when we were reserves. And you know, you're waiting for that chance. You go and play in the first team. It often happens in international friendlies, pre-season, post-season. You go out there and you put in a good performance, and the coach goes, okay, well, maybe this is a player I can involve more often. And when you get that chance, you've got to grab it. And Nate Miller said to you and I when we chatted this week, there are a number of players who need to step up. They need to have an impact on the game. And he picked out Joe Hansen, Keegan Euler, and Omar Yeye, and said those three in particular, I want to see more from them. Don't think he's seen enough from them to be overjoyed just yet. They still have a little bit more time to impact before this match is over.
It might be 60 or 70 minutes tonight. They get extended run, and that might earn them 15, 20 minutes once they get back into League One play against One Knox and showcase the ability there. It might earn some more minutes after that. Tonight's a very important night for those men. Try to assert themselves into the rotation for Athletic Club Boise with 11 matches to go in the regular season. Another thing that Nate Miller said that I thought was a fantastic point that he brought up is there's a little bit of time that younger players have when they're first starting their careers where they feel like they have a ton of chances. They feel like they have a long time to get in to the action, but sometimes there's a new wave coming in the next year. There's a ton of new players coming in the next year. Your chances aren't necessarily as many as you expect.
That's a very, very good point. And I think the bottom line is you've got to take the first chance you get. And when you get a chance to go into a team, you cannot be thinking, well, there'll be a chance again next year and the year after. The chance you get is the best chance you've got. Take it, impress the coaching staff, because to your point, and it's a very good point, if you don't, you suddenly find at the end of the season the coach is saying, sorry, we have to let you go, we've got better youngsters coming through, and then you're going down, not up the ladder. And so you have to be always impressive. Whatever level of team you are, you're looking to go to the next level up, and that's got to be your attitude, game after game.
And I think this team's a very interesting team in that regard. You make a splash with one team, maybe it doesn't work out there. Maybe the coach leaves, the club folds in the case of San Diego Loyal, and there needs to be a new spot, and that's why some of those players have been able to find themselves to this great club here in Boise. A foul is whistled. The card is out of the pocket.
It's to Andre Rojas, I believe. The 19-year-old centre-back was a little bit late on the tackle on Dennis Kostashin. Nothing terribly serious, but late enough to get the card and to get the lecture from referee Justin St. Pierre. You can see it again. As the turn comes there, he definitely is late, and he definitely kicks the ankle. Get another view here. Look at the left ankle being kicked there. That's a good split second late. You know what you're doing there. You've missed the ball. There should be time to pull your foot out. So that's why he gets a yellow card.
Yellow card was presented by Diamond Heating and Cooling. St. Alphonsus free kick. Put in play to Mayaka. Moshaban. Inye. Moshaban stumbles. How many friendlies do you think finished 0-0?
Yeah, I mean, there's generally goals somewhere down the line. But again, this is more mid-season. The friendlies that I played in were pre-season and post-season. And this is in the middle of the season when you're still trying to impress the boss and the coach, and everyone's focused. You get a higher standard of defending when it's coming mid-season, when everyone's super fit. End of season, you tend to, how can I put this politely, get pulled away by evening festivities and end of season relaxation parties and the rest of it. And yeah, your standard of defending is probably not up to scratch the following day.
You mean trips to like Blockbuster to find the next hit movie to watch, right?
Yeah, okay, we'll go with that then.
Costa charges in. Is this the moment where Boise scores? Hansen finds some space. Moshaban, he gets taken down. It's another free kick coming up. And Athletic Club Boise have had some good looks from this distance already in this game.
Gabriel Leva giving away the free kick, one of the most experienced players on the pitch there for Sporting FC. Surprised that he would have tripped up Moshaban. Moshaban's going away from goal, just in there's blue shirts, coastal Costa Rica Pura Vida blue shirts all around there. Didn't need to make that tackle.
St. Alphonsus free kick. Let's see whose turn it is this time. I think Costa is going to want this. He's going to make the appeal to Dominic Gasso that he's already had his turn. Costa walks it off. It is a long run up if it's the left foot. Short if it's Gasso. Former Detroit product. Just 22 years of age, despite being a pro since 2022. Naka is now in the neighborhood as well. Kostershin runs up. Gasso is the one that strikes it. Leal does a really good job of smothering.
He looked very comfortable, Leal, there, didn't he? Didn't seem to fuss too much. Just basically leant down, picked it up, and he's impressed. I mean, he's only been on 30 minutes, to be fair, so you can't judge too much, but what he's done well.
That free kick has been a weapon for Boise this year. They have scored a USL League One high 4 goals off of free kicks this year. Segura has space on the left. Segura smashes, one hops into the chest of Endema.
Not sure if that was the best option there for Segura. He had Colindres making a good run to the near post. Maybe sort of aimed at the more experienced centre forward. And that cross could have been a shot as well. If you leave it, then the goalkeeper's got to deal with the shot. So maybe there were better options, which I think has been the story of this game. There's been a lot of good work around both boxes. Just that final class bit of touch has been missing from both sides.
Half hour to decide if we get that. Still scoreless. This friendly, the first ever one for Boise. Ball rams on the backside of Barea. Long distance shot from a long way away here. And Endema, I think, had it covered, but it ends up sliding just wide.
Let's put it this way, Endema had a little moment of panic there before he realized that ball had gone wide, because it was well hit. certainly had the distance and the pace to beat him, but as it turns out, just not quite the direction.
Mayaka. Shaban. Cross loops in, and there is a header there. And it ends up flying right into the waiting hands of Leal.
Again, another little half chance, not a bad one, 6-7 yards out, flying header, just not able to get it either side of the goalkeeper. Once again, that little bit of clinical finishing is just missing at the moment from both sides.
Hansen hammers it across. It takes a skip past the first man, and it's polished off. Jesus Barea scores the opener for Boise.
Well, it had to come. They were creating enough chances. In the end, it was a simple finish for Jesus Barea, who's hit the post in this match. He's had shots flash wide of the goals in all directions. Good cross from coming up wide on that right-hand side. Have a look here. Whipped in with pace. Missed at the near post, and he had the simple task from 3-4 yards of just knocking that into the back of the net. It's a really, really good ball in from Hansen there, Joe Hansen. And a rush at the near post, and he was able just to tap it in, and he deserves it. He's come close 3 or 4 times, and that sees him get the first goal of the match, one that we felt had been coming a long time, and eventually we get it.
Jesus Barea scores 2 goals and an assist in 4 matches with Athletic Club Boise. AC Boise goal. To you by Restore Hyper Wellness.
And now we'll get to see the professionalism of Sporting FC as decent players, really decent players, as we know, in a very, very good team. They're not going to like being 1-0 down. I've got a sense that they're going to get a little bit more chippy, a little bit more aggressive, and try and get the equalizer now, maybe bring on some fresh legs in a few minutes. That's what I would expect them to do, and let's see how they do respond.
Gomez glides through the middle. Ricochets off of Mayaka. Costa able to slide it past 3 defenders. Hansen is at the attack. To the middle. Oh, that's a really good ball. Costa has it bounce off of the keeper's leg, off of his chest, and go out.
Good play, hand up there for a fantastic ball. The good thing about the pass into him was it was first time. So the defenders never got time to sort of settle and see where that one was from Costa. Lovely build-up from Boise all the way around. There's that ball. Absolutely fantastic pass in. And he tries to thread it through the goalkeeper's legs. And again, Rodney Leal making a very, very decent save for Sporting FC.
Sporting be able to make a comeback in this friendly. Gasso rips the pocket out of Leyva. Moshaban. Mayaka. Is he trying to surge now here in the second half? A team that is tied for 6th in USL League One in goals. Excellent in the second half. Costa shin, Moshaban. Mashes in a one-hand knockdown there by Leal. He has been a busy man coming on as the second half sub.
It certainly has, and he made that look easy in the end when Moshaban hits it. I'm thinking, man, he's bending it in that far corner. Perhaps didn't put enough pace on it, but the goalkeeper just steps across one hand out and makes it look a simple save.
Mayaka.
Maybe looks a little bit of tiredness in Sporting FC. Just to finish that thought, I would have thought roundabout now would be a good time for Andres Karavic to make some changes, get young players with fresh legs on, assuming the players are good enough. We don't know who's, we know some names on the bench. We don't know how good they are. It's mostly youngsters, but you would think they're good enough to throw them on and say, hey, bring some energy. We've got just over 20 minutes left to try and salvage something from this match. Because it certainly they look a little bit tired. You've got to add in the travel and everything else. And of course, the age of someone like Daniel Kalindra is at 41. But maybe 70 minutes is about enough for his legs to cope with at the moment.
Barbosa. The game down for the moment. Sporting looking to get something going here in the attack. End of the first half was when they were at their best. Not storing things up for a strong close to the second half, trailing by a goal to none with 20 minutes to play. Jesus Barea's goal in the 64th minute separates these two teams in this international friendly on a Wednesday night in Boise, Idaho.
And to your point about them being good just before halftime, Sporting FC, perhaps credit to Nate Miller, made 3 changes at halftime, and that really rejuvenized AC Boise, and they went on the offensive, and suddenly Sporting were pushed back.
This ball bounces in. Gomez! Oh, he hit the ball well. The flag was down on top of that. Could have tied it up.
Could have. And should have. The ball in is absolutely fantastic. He brings it down perfectly. He's just got to get over that volley and force it down. If it goes almost anywhere, he's going to hit the back of the net. But to balloon it over the crossbar, a player of his skill, at 27 years of age, he's been around long enough to know what he has to do with that. And that's a bad miss for Sporting FC. Beautiful ball in, though.
Perhaps a warning shot. Sporting trying to claw back into this. Once again, being asked to defend. Yeah. He goes down, penalty. And a chance to make it 2 for Boise. Yeah, draws it. And here goes the home side in this friendly, trying to make it 2.
Good skills there from Omar. Yeah. Nice pace and speed. Love to see that. Take players on in the box. You're putting them under pressure, and they can make that mistake. And that's exactly what happens there to Fernando Jose Abaca, the 24-year-old. And he's such a good attacking player, Omar. Yeah. Once again, the stacked talent in this Boise side, creating problems for the opposition.
Well, who's going to be the one that gets a chance to take this? It looks like it's going to be Moshaban. A chance to make it 2. Let's see how Leal handles this one. He's made some good saves in the second half. Sumi Moshiban mashes and mangles the mesh to make it 2-0 Boise.
That's a well-taken penalty. As he runs up to it, he stops. He's allowed to stop as long as he then continues afterwards and takes the pen. Goalkeeper goes very early. Rodini Leal. And have a look again. Omar Yaya gets past his defender. Defender's got to leave him alone. He just gives him a little bit of a tug on the shoulder. And that is Fernando Jose Abaca. And have a look. He stops. Goalkeeper goes early. The keeper's gone already. And he's got his head up, Moshiban, and as soon as he sees Leal go to our left as we're looking, he just puts it other side of the goal. Good finish. Maybe goalkeepers just wait a little second longer before committing himself to the dive.
That AC Boise goal brought to you by Restore Hyper Wellness. And now that's 2 goals. And a reminder that fans, you can win. AC Boise scoring 3 or more goals tonight. All fans will receive a $25 gift certificate to Restore Hyper Wellness. And right now they're at 2, and there's plenty of time left to try to make it a 3rd. It does now look like Sporting are going to make a change. That is a Barbosa coming out. And Matthias Delgado coming in.
Well, you were asking the question about 15 minutes ago, why there are no goals? And in that time, they've scored 2, AC Boise. So I guess it's a case of they just kept on trying, and then the opportunities fell for them the way they wanted. It was a mixture early on of not being clinical, and sometimes you need to be a little bit lucky. And one of those crosses got through to Berea 4 yards out. He went, thank you very much, back of the net. And then, yeah, with that lovely run, wins the penalty. So in the end, 2 simple finishes, one from 4 yards, one from a penalty, which is an 80% chance of scoring. But the work had been done before, creating so many chances. Eventually, the right chances fell to Boise.
Quarter hour to go. Moshiban draws the foul. He might have caught an elbow to the back of the head.
We just mentioned a few minutes ago, once the goal gets scored, a team as professional as Sporting FC get a little bit annoyed. It's natural. And there's the yellow card that goes to Matthias Delgado, who's just come on. And you get a little bit annoyed, and you can start leaving a little bit on other players, and because nobody likes to lose, and the professional aspect of your career suddenly comes out, and he's pleading his case. And also the way Boise are playing also can get you upset if you're Sporting FC. It's one thing going behind, but Boise playing really well in the second half, and that gets frustrating for players when they're playing in a friendly. They're playing in any match, but certainly where they've arrived as a fancy side, a side at maybe a higher level than Boise are, and so much expected of them, and here they are 2-0 down, and to be frank, getting outplayed in the second half.
And a lot of credit does go to Athletic Club Boise for what this program has built in year number 1. It's not even a year ago that Nate Miller took over this job. The first signing was Blake Bodley. And to come in as a year 1 program and perform the way that they have in USL League One, a couple results away from trying to charge to the top of the table. They'll have their opportunities to do so in their final 11 matches. But this fan base here in Boise has just been absolutely sensational on a night-to-night basis, and yet again here tonight on this international friendly inauguration for Boise.
And they're scoring goals, that they're playing good soccer that fans love to watch. 2 here today, 2 against Forward Madison at home. Skip the Corpus Christi match, the 0-0 draw, that was a one-off. 2 matches away at Greenville Triumph, even they lost 3-2. They scored some good goals. So they can defend. They are certainly scoring goals, and that's the combination that can take you to the top of the table.
The end of games is maybe their biggest area that they need to grow in. They've given up 7 goals in the final 9 minutes this season, twice in stoppage time as well. So let's see if they can close this one out cleanly without letting Sporting back in. Mayaka, Barea, who has scored already. Hansen ends up sending it deep into the dark of night.
It's unfortunate for Hansen, one of the players that Coach Nate Miller told us he wants to see more from. He set up the first goal, and I'm thinking there, whip another good cross in, and suddenly the coach is thinking, well, he's made one, maybe makes another. Suddenly he's an impact player. Goes and totally mishits that and loses that opportunity to really impress the coach.
Well, we will see Blake Bodley coming in here, replacing his former San Diego teammate, Tumi Moshaban. Moshaban's penalty in the 73rd minute made it 2-0. Substitutions brought to you by Sakai Brewing.
They've still got Nick Moon on the bench. They haven't even dressed Thomas Among for today's match. Again, just showing you the depth of talent in this AC Boise squad. Okay, well done, Nate Miller and ownership for getting these top players to come to the club.
Mayaka. Hansen again. Let's see his influence this time. 3 defenders converge. He pokes it through the middle, wins it back, slaloms, leaves. Kosashin ends up lifting it high.
When he just put his hands to his head there to Joe Hansen, because he was going to hit that. And Kostashin took it right off his toes as he came in. You could see glory written all over that, Joe Hansen. And again, he knows he has to impress the coach, which is why he wanted to have that shot at goal and hope that it would fly into the back of the net.
10 minutes to go in this friendly. It was scoreless at halftime. And the dam finally broke in the 64th minute when Hansen's cross met the right foot of Jesus Barea to make it 1-0. Less than 10 minutes later, Yaya drew a penalty, and Tumi Moshaban finished it off to make it 2-0. Athletic Club Boise's first ever international friendly, playing host to Costa Rican side Sporting. Watching Gary Bailey and her team guiding you to the finish line here tonight. Will there be a third for Athletic Club Boise and a prize for the fan base? Or will Sporting try to make a run at this one here in the final 10, the way that they did in the final 10 minutes of the first half? That's going to help, and that steal. Romero. Segura. Chip ball in. Felindris was the target. Dema catches and falls down.
Hasn't had much to do, Joseph and Dema, the Ghanaian. But he did make one really good save in the first half from a free kick. And other than that, there's a couple of things here and there. It'd be difficult to get his pace back from Cleaver, who's been really, really good, Jonathan Cleaver. But at least he'll feel that he's shown Nate Miller that he's ready and available if needed.
Kostashin. Hansen.
just keep ball at the moment for Boise. They're in control of the game, 2-0 up. Not seeing enough from Sporting FC here in these final minutes. You're 2-0 down. Maybe they're tired, they've traveled a bit, but most of these players, or virtually all of them, didn't play on the last match on Friday night. So there's no excuse in terms of, you know, minutes in their legs, but just not quite seeing. Remember just before halftime how well they closed down, and they were causing so many problems for AC Boise. We haven't seen that level of marking and closing down since then, which is a bit of a surprise given how good some of these Sporting FC players are.
Costa runs into a brick wall, gives the ball away, and then it's won back by Hansen, and he draws the foul.
Costa took that knock there. As he went to turn, he got clobbered. He's just testing his knees and ankles, making sure everything's working properly. But Calindres was arguing about that free kick, and they're not happy, the players. Obviously, nobody is, again, as a professional, you don't want to be losing. I'm just not seeing enough effort coming from them to, you know, to fight back from 2-0. Even if you get it to 2-1, at least you can feel that you made a game of it. But these last 5 minutes, Sporting FC just haven't really had the energy levels you would expect from this team.
The unique dilemma that Nate Miller has to deal with on a night like tonight is they don't play again for another 10 days. We've seen teams around the USL have friendlies sometimes sandwiched in a midweek where they can maybe utilize academy players or seldom used players at a higher clip and almost use it as an additional training session. This one, because of the duration, this game important for some of the consistent starters to play higher minutes. That ball flicked on and would have been a beautiful finish. Instead, it ends up out. But that conflict that you have to have as a coach where you're trying to ensure that those players are getting the same level of minutes to stay as fresh as they can for the game 10 days from now without sitting them for almost 2 weeks without playing them tonight. More minutes left. Correa looked like he was going to keep his balance and pull away. Instead, draws the foul. Yeah, wanted to go fast. The official was standing right where the ball needed to be restarted.
Just looking at the back of Gomez's number 98 and going back to his chance, what, 15 minutes ago? Brought it down beautifully, 6 yards out on the volley, just the goalkeeper to beat. That goes in, and 2-1, and suddenly we have a different game, but big chance went to begging there.
To your point, that play happened a minute before the penalty was conceded, so that would have tied the score at the time. Totally could have been a different game at that point if he would have been able to finish on one of the few chances that Sporting have been able to generate.
I'm assuming they can still make more subs, AC Boise. They had they've used 2 sub windows. They've got 1 more left. The player's getting cramp at this stage. I'm thinking we'll just take him off, you know, make sure this doesn't do any damage and get someone like Nick Moon on. There's also a young defender, Benny Inyao, and there's also Damian Aguelo.
Oscar Segura's shift is going to come to an end. He is going to come off, and it is going to be Luis Guillermo Campos coming in, brought to you by Sockeye Brewing. Did look like Nate Miller had somebody up, perhaps to get Barea off here as he limps off to the sideline. And the official's saying you need to go in that direction, so Barea's going to get a yellow. I mean, he was kind of dead center of the field. I don't really think that it mattered which side of the field he went on, and the official said he needed to go that side, and he didn't follow the directions, so he gets a yellow card. Brought to you by Diamond Heating and Cooling.
What happens also if you take too long to get off, then the sub can't come on for at least a minute. So these are the new rules. I'm assuming they apply in this friendly match.
So we will see Damian Arguello come in, the midfielder making his professional debut tonight. Spent time at Utah Tech, 2 years there, an all WAC selection at Utah Tech in 2024, then transferred to Cal Baptist last year. 16 appearances and assists. Grew up in Caldwell and played for the Boise Timbers club team, so he now joins the fray at the pro level. '90th minute, 2-0 Boise. Both goals have come in the second half. Well, your key to the game was give the fans their money's worth. You think they've accomplished that?
Yes, I think they have. And the other one was to leave a good international impression by Sporting FC. I think they've done that. They've played it in a good spirit. They've created a few chances.
They might be creating one more here. Campos crosses. Mayaka skims it over. Arguello, the hometown kid, draws the foul.
Yeah, it hasn't been nasty. There haven't been any bad tackles, but lots of friendship between the players. They've had a couple of good chances. In particular, you go back to Ignacio Gomez's chance about, what, 15 minutes ago now. As you say, just before the penalty, the second goal was scored. A really great chance to get on level terms. So all in all, I think you're right. The keys to the match have been met. Well done both sides. And again, wonderful to see Sporting FC come to the USA, and hopefully we'll get to see more of them as relations build over the years.
Fourth official indicating 3 more minutes of stoppage time, presented by Diamond Heating and Cooling. Benny Yao is going to come in, and it is going to be Hansen coming off.
That's a nice little opportunity for the young defender to come on and just, have a few minutes, not a lot, but just to get used to the vibe in the first team and to see what his future could be like.
Yao played collegiately at UNC Asheville, grew up in the Tar Heel State, so one of the few players without ties to the West Coast into the game. 148 matches with the Dogs on the western side of the Tar Heel State.
It's poor Costa again. Since he's come on, he's been hit about 3 or 4 times. He's taken more whacks in the last sort of 30 minutes than most players have in the entire 90.
Pass there, intercepted.
I was going to say this will be 6 wins, 1 draw in the last 8 matches. You really get the sense that with Boise the momentum is building and it's going to keep on going. This will give them confidence, beating a top side from Costa Rica. They beat Czech Republic 2-0 in the cup. You know, they've really got a lot of reasons to believe that they can go on and win a lot of games from here.
Yeah. It falls back. It is Mayaka. Chance to make it a third. Yeah gets it back. He hits the deck. Free kick coming up. And a chance for an exclamation mark on the evening.
I think Yaya's feeling a little bit of pain there. He's annoyed, but Philip Mayaka ran in there and he was literally picking his spot. I think when a defender got a big leg in front of it, but he thought he was there already when their shot came in there. Philip Mayaka, have a look. He's picking his spot. He's got time. He's chosen where he wants it. Defender just slides in and makes a great block.
Sets up a St. Alphonsus free kick. AC Boise. Let's see who elects to take this one. Mayaka might get a second go. Costa crushes into the backs of the wall. It skips out, and let's see, will we allow a corner here? Brought to you by Sockeye. And why not? Blake Bodley will head over there. Moments away from the final whistle. Bodley throws it in. Leal picks it up. Nice catch with his fellow goalkeeper counterpart. The final whistle blows, and it's a victorious friendly on the first ever international night here in Boise. AC Boise 2, Sporting from Costa Rica 0.
Yeah, good game. Well done, Boise. Fantastic at home. The run continues. International football. All of this in their first year, which is top class. And appreciate Sporting FC making the trip across, putting in some good play, having opportunities. They had their moments. Not as many as Boise, but they certainly had their moments. They played some really good football just before halftime, which maybe the Boise players could learn from, that quick closing down and pressing. But in the end, a great victory for a home side. Yeah, go on. Take all the plaudits, and may this success for AC Boise continue.
A fun night here in Boise, and the friendly finishes in favor of the home side. 2-0 is the final margin, brought to you by Big Bun Drive-In. Step out for a break. Highlights come up next.
Every business has a story. Maybe you're just getting started. Maybe you're expanding. Maybe you're ready for a fresh start with a bank that truly cares about your business. We're Banner Bank, and we want your business to succeed, to stay competitive, to get to the next level. And we have a long history of helping businesses just like yours. Banner Bank. Better ideas, better banking.
Hey buddy, why aren't we catching anything? I bet they're deeper down. Mom?
Unexpected plumbing issues? Diamond can help with prompt, reliable, high-quality service. Call the amazing team at Diamond Heating, Cooling, Plumbing, and Electric. From leaky faucets and broken pipes to water heaters and softeners, Diamond's 5-star heroes can help. Diamond.
Your home's best friend.
Full time brought to you by Big Bun Drive-In. Athletic Club Boise 2, Sporting FC 0. Michael Wattering, Gary Bailey, and our team with you as we take a look back at the full-time highlights brought to you by Big Bun Drive-In. And It started in the first half with some chances from this Athletic Club Boise side, and then in the second half, they were finally able to get some free kicks, but
those are the two goals that separated these teams.
Final score tonight, Athletic Club Boise makes it 5 straight unbeaten on the home pitch, 6 wins in their last 8. 2-0, the final score. Boise beats Costa Rican side Sporting tonight. For my partner Gary Bailey and our entire crew here on this historic evening in Idaho, I'm Michael Watrang signing off. Thanks so much for watching. Good night, everybody.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the express written consent of the United Soccer League.